What's good, YouTube? Today I wanted to do a video discussing one of the main cards in the meta, the bane of some people's existence, and other people really abuse it, anti-spell fragrance. So, of course, we have the Perform Power Perform Mage deck that's been giving everybody a lot of trouble. It's basically the best deck out there, but it's really weak to this one card. So I wanted to discuss some of the best decks to utilize it, and coming in at 7th is actually the Perform Power deck. Like, basically, if you haven't noticed, they're able to set up Naturia Beast with anti-spell turn 1 depending on their build. So, with the ability to protect it from Twin Twister or any quick play, it forces them to have to be able to use a Castel, a Diamond Dyer, or something of the likes. And with hand traps like Veiler and Ghost Ogre, you really prevent them from being able to, and you lock down the mirror. The reason why this is in 7th, though, and not any higher, is that this is a list for abusing anti-spell fragrance and which decks do it best. While you can make Naturia Beast anti-spell fragrance, your option for if your Naturia Beast happens to die, it comes back and locks your entire deck down, making it a very bad option in some places. So we get to number 6, which is Burning Abyss. Now, a lot of people say that I'm too hard on Burning Abyss. I'm not at all. It's definitely the best deck to use Twin Twister with. It gets the most value off Twin Twister out of any deck. But Anti-Spell is a floodgate trap that stops them from being able to use their special summon effect and allowing you to swarm the field for game. So while you only play an average of 2 to 5 spells in Burning Abyss for most builds, Anti-Spell Fragrance stops your own monster's effects from allowing you to do what Burning Abyss does, and summon. So, while it gets a lot of mileage out of this card, it does not get a higher slot for abusing Anti-Spell Fragrance because Anti-Spell brings its own mechanics back down. Now let's go ahead and get to number 5, Cosmo. Now, why isn't it higher, and why is it at number 5 for this list? Well, is it 5? Yeah, it should be 5. So, Cosmos basically, they need their emergency teleports, and so your main goal, if you've drawn anti-spell, is that you're going to be able to set what you have so far and flip anti-spell, and it will still be activatable that turn because it ignores cards that were already set before its activation. However, when you start getting into top decking an emergency teleport and having to wait that entire time to be able to activate it can be really harsh. As well as your other, you play a lot of spells, the field spell, teleport, reasonings if you play them. It can really be a hard back on your own deck. So for abusing it, it falls there. Then we get to our 4th place, Satellar Knight. While it doesn't play a lot of spells, it does play some, down to 1 reinforcement of the army, but it also gets to Travare Loop, and you can bounce your own anti-spell and use your spell. So it actually has its own out to be able to abuse its spells again. So it really gets a lot of mileage out of it. It gets a lot of lockdown power with it. It uses Travare to bounce, and it really doesn't get hurt too much by it since you're probably playing like 16, 17 traps. If you're playing Satellar Knights, you probably, you do have quite a few spells still, probably like 8 or 9, depending on your build, maybe less, maybe more. But overall, you're trying to trap. And Satellar Knights are still a pretty relevant deck. And in our 3rd place, we have Infern Nodes, the big bad Infern Nodes. Now, why aren't they higher on my list? Or lower, for that matter. You need your top deck reasonings in this deck. You might be playing 101, you may need, or 1 for 1, not 101, and need to be using that for Decatron, and so your main goal is really, go first, burn your reasonings that you already have, but like, if you got countered in any way, shape, or form, your anti-spell is going to stop your top deck reasoning and just allow you to get hit for game if you didn't really stack up a big graveyard. So for that reason, I'm going to say these next decks abuse it a little better. We have Masked Heroes. So your main goal, in 2nd place Masked Heroes, your main goal is to just blow out your entire hand turn 1 and set. So while your top decks don't really need to be as much of a focus because you're set Dark Claw. Like, I would say that heroes definitely get the most mileage out of anti-spell. And while it does reflect back on the deck, you will need your extra mass changes and stuff. You don't need them right away, typically. You've already set up so much that they're going to have to battle through all your extra back row on top of your anti-spell fragrance. So I would definitely say that heroes abuse anti-spell better than any of the previous decks. And in our final slot, Mermales. Mermales definitely get the most mileage out of anti-spell, mainly because of one card. They have the Abyss Scale, which Megalo goes and fetches. So Megalo can search out a card that basically is an equipped spell, and it will eat up the first spell's effect that activates and negate it and destroy it. So you have an anti-spell, and you have a setup that allows you to eat a Twin Twister or MST that would activate straight away, making Typhoon the only real out to this anti-spell. So you have the only deck that has an inherent way to protect anti-spell fragrance. So I just wanted to point that out. Sorry for that Skype call right there, right at the end. But you have the only deck that has a way to protect its own anti-spell fragrance outside of Pepe, which is Naturi Beast, but with no repercussions for anti-spell being left back up. You're still going to be wombo comboing with all your monster effects. So definitely Mermail is the best deck to abuse anti-spell fragrance. And go ahead in the comments below if I may have missed any deck, if you think Kaiju should have been on this list, if you think something else should have been on this list to abuse anti-spell among these 7, please let me know, you know, or if you think the order should be different. If you think Satellar Knight's Trevera Loop with this card is way more worthy of being higher, if you think Burning Abyss isn't slowed down that much by anti-spell stopping their special summons, if you think they should be higher, let me know. But this isn't a contest of which deck is better. This is which deck gets the most mileage out of flipping that anti-spell. So thanks for watching. If you like this kind of discussion video on this card, let me know and we might do more cards, and also post in the comment cards that you'd like to see talked about. And be sure to subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed this discussion, and thanks for watching as always.